Hello. We have the Wujing today. So Wujing, it's basically a Pan-Asian Alsace. That's really what it comes down to. It has all the strengths of the Alsace, which are very few, and it has all the weaknesses, being French armor. So, economic-wise, we removed my personal merits, 10%, 105. 115, and then of course normal is 150. Upgrade wise, I did go for a secondary build because I was wanting to just try it. It actually works out pretty well, but it does have its limits. Main armaments 1, damage control, secondary battery, damage control, concealment, and auxiliary armaments mod 2. Consumables, it gets 4 heals. Wait, do I have... No, first for the build. Yeah. This is the build. And since there is no superintendent, or there is technically, and you would get 5, but since we don't have that, we get 4. So, repair party, 4 charges of heal, 3 charges of fighter, and 3 charges of engine boost. I actually took vigilance for a weird reason because it does give that 7% toward torpedo protection, and so when we look at that, it goes up to a 51% torpedo reduction. So pretty significant. But again, going back to the armor that I mentioned, 32 millimeters basically all around, HE susceptible like most French ships. Hit point wise, 74,700. Not the best. It has less than a Missouri, I believe. And that's not a lot of it, considering you got that 32 millimeter plating. The guns are 380s. So really, when you think about it, 380s on a tier 9, they're not the best. They really aren't. Really, 4.6s and above are really where it's at. Anything below, it really gets kind of iffy because you're lacking that overmatch ability that a lot of other ships have, especially just the 406s that just hit hard and still overmatch. Because when you look at the overmatch ability, it's only 26. That's not a huge amount of armor penetration. That's pretty low. And then, with all the skills and everything, we're still looking at a 30-second, reload. We don't have gun feeder, so it's just 30-second between shots. So you'll see mainly just shooting armor piercing. If I'm shooting AP or HE, there's going to be that 30-second switch time in between. 20-kilometer range, the dispersion is where it gets really wonky. Burgoyne is the pre-nerfed Alsace. Burgoyne is what the ship used to be, especially the Alsace. Now we have the nerfed Alsace, which is basically what the Wujing is. And as someone that has played the Alsace, it's not the greatest. If anything, it's mediocre. It's legitimately mediocre. Now, the reason we did the secondaries is because we have the 152s. Those have an 8.5 reload time, 11.4 kilometer range. But the main reason why is we went with these guns, the 100 millimeters, which have a 2.2 second reload and a 11.5 kilometer range. Again, I really just did this for the memes. I really am not going to go into detail on the ship because it is an Alsace. That's legitimately what it is. It's an Alsace that's been painted with a very beautiful skin, by the way. AA-wise, nothing to really write home about. If I'm running against Raptor Rescue and say I'm going after the CV is going to still dumpster me. I mean, that's just a given. Speed-wise, with Brisk and everything, I believe I did have Brisk on here, right? Yes. No, I don't. Okay, so it is a 32 knot ship. which is actually pretty decent. Turning circle is 910. That's pretty bad. Rudder shift is where it gets really abysmal at 6. It's basically 17 seconds. That's pretty bad. And then, since we don't have concealment or anything, yeah, we're looking at a 15-kilometer detection. So you do really see the difference when we look at the upgrades. When we just don't have that extra concealment. Because if we had that extra concealment, it would go down to 13.2. But still a really big difference. And then if we had gun feeder, it would be 18-second switch time, which isn't that much better, let's be honest. So you're really not missing much. But I mean, if I was going to take the fourth skill, it would either be close quarters or emergency repair expert. You could really do either one. Honestly, if you just wanted to do it for the means, close quarters. If you wanted a little bit more survivability, emergency repair expert. That's literally what it is. And then the last 4, well, that really depends. I mean, you can either go preventative maintenance, consumable specialist for the engine boost, or gun feeder, of course. So you have options. You got options with those last 5 points. But remember, the reason we did Wujing Bing is because, fortunately, we don't get torpedo attack expert, but we do get this one. But again, 100 million and a half potential damage. That's quite a bit. And in a ship that has 32 millimeter plating, the question is, will you survive long enough to activate that 6.5 reload and everything? It really depends. It really depends. I mean, it's hard to say. But let's get into the replay, because the replay will really show this ship. And honestly, with a secondary build, I had a lot of fun with the secondary build. I think it's great. It's memey, it brings new life, and it just makes it feel a little bit more challenging, because the ship has a lot of weaknesses. But you want to push it to become even better. So you're playing risky, but you're getting a high risk, high reward. Really. So let's get into the replay for you. Hello. Welcome back to Wujing. This ship. Now, I got this ship during the last offer of Journey to the West containers, where they could give you that 30 to 60% coupon. And since I already had the previous 3, I was like, this is a cheap opportunity to pick up the last one. So our team is Los Andes, Kearsarge, Wujing, Carl Johan IV, Buffalo, Seattle, and Kronstadt.
General quarters. Captains, proceed to the designated area and liberate the island from enemy control. Neutralize the enemy battery. Awaiting instructions.
Now, Wujing is basically an Alsace that has all the weaknesses and, honestly, very little of the strengths of the Alsace. I don't think I've ever heard anyone really praise the Alsace unless it was pre-nerfed Alsace. And that was a long time ago. But I really don't think I've heard anyone ever say anything good about that ship, the Alsace. And we do have Wujing being on here. Now, the secondaries, with the secondary skill and everything, those little tiny ones on the side do go down to 2.2 second reloads. And then you have the bigger turrets on the back. You don't think it is a lot, but you can see it is slowly and just slightly just trickling up. Most of the time, though, I would imagine is just non-penetrations, but they are trickling up. It is slowly going up. But also just the fact that it's just this, it just looks cool also. I think that was another reason they did it, is because it just looks cool. Now, a broadside a Oba and going broadside to a Congo, typically it wouldn't be the smartest decision, let's be honest. Since we know it was where San Diego is now, and we know it's going to be in the island right across from us, that tells me that it's already going to be south, directly south afterwards. Sometimes it might go north, but it's very rare it will ever do that. and like we're just charging straight in. Now, I will be honest, in normal operations, the odds of you being able to do this are very low, because remember, since it's an Alsace, it does get that 32mm plating, which gets overmatched by German HE, Japanese HE, American HE. Basically, most HE will basically destroy you. So having your own heel plus the fleet consumable heel really does make this ship shine in small modes. Illinois is another ship that really does shine in these modes, due to the fleet heel also. Now, since I don't have the ability to pin it at the angle, I do aim for the superstructure, but we do get a nice almost 20k hit on it though. I just love seeing those little secondaries go pew pew every few seconds. Get another nice 10k salvo even at that 21-degree angle on it.
Thank you. Enemy cruiser sighted.
Johan's trying to literally get me to go around the other side. And believe me, Johan, I've been on this map. I've done that in the Georgia. Yeah, it's always going to spawn on the other side of the rock, not on the right side. It's always going to be on the left side, never the right side. I really do just love these constant clickers. I think they know the ops, and for the most part they do. But I'm just like, I know the ops, yes, but I'm not an obsessive clicker. The only time I'm an obsessive clicker is on Ultimate Frontier when you've got multiple ships coming south, but no one goes north for the cruisers. That's the one of the few times that I click because I'm like, the op ends if you don't go north. I mean, that is just a given. And we're at 261k. It's not a huge amount, let's be honest. Now I go for the good cost, because remember, it does have 16mm bow plating, so I can shoot it. I do turn in this way because that way I can get both secondaries going. Unfortunately, Johan deletes the AOBA. I mean, I know they're literally going to be south. So I can literally just charge in here, and if something comes up, you know, we'll work with what we got. He's like, I get him for being very agitated for the number 5. I get that. Or the number 9, but we've got time. The San Diego hasn't arrived yet. We've still got time. It's only like when the cap actually starts capping that I start to actually get worried. Get a nice 12K there with 3 penetrations. Our secondaries are going off on Fubuki, and they go off on the Aoba. Now, since it isn't a 21-point captain, we don't get to take full secondary skills, which would really help also. Unfortunately, we just get overpins. And I'm like, if we can't pick up that Fubuki at that low HP, then I'm going to be very disappointed. Now, keep in mind, Johan's still full HP. He can literally go straight in. He has his torpedoes, he's got his guns. He can legitimately just push in and do whatever the hell he wants to do. But he doesn't. We get a nice 16K there. Looks like a double fire on Mutsu. Secondaries on the Aki, secondaries going off everywhere. And I see him turning in. So I aim down low so that my shells will arm as he turns in. And they do arm when we get a triple citadel, with 3 overpins, and we knock out the Mayoko. But I mean, full health battleship like the cargo one could be a lot more aggressive. Fire picks up the Mutsu.
Enemy battleship sunk.
Again, aim for the bow because we overmatch it. No citadels, but we do get a really nice shot. And we'll try to get some good shots in this Fuso. Slowing down, trying to slow it down just enough to maybe get a good citadel hit on it. And it looks like we get a nice 20K hit with 10 shells, so that's pretty good. Out of 12 guns.
Roger. Problem solved, sir. Enemy battleship sighted. Enemy cruiser sighted.
And then we've got a wonderful 130K Musashi just steaming in there. Unfortunately, you do see he is turning in. So our shells will ricochet and break. We do get a nice 26K on it though. And since he is turned into us at a 19-degree angle, basically, there's no way we're overmatching it. So the most we can do is aim for the upper part and try to slap the superstructure, which we are doing. And we're getting pretty good hits on it. And I'm like, can I crack 600k? And I'm like, oh, that's super close. And I'm like, I've got a Musashi here, and I'm like, if I can get a good shot on this Ayoba, I can crack 600k. We managed to get 2 shell hits for 16k on it, and we've got more than enough HP in this Musashi to put us over. Assuming the Kearsarge doesn't land a shot, because if you look at the angles where he's at, he does have broadside shots into the cheek armor there.
Engine boost deactivated.
And we get a nice 5 Citadels, and we cross our 600k. So 617 in damage, 800,000 in credits, 2,700 in free XP, 8 kills, 1,100 secondary hits, top of the team at 2048. Not as much left took in terms of damage though. We do lose 2 secondary batteries, which were the 2 like 5-inch guns. We end up making almost 800,000 in credits and a really nice amount of Commander XP for Xia Jinping. So that is the Wujing. Overall opinion, I would not recommend this ship just because it is very situational and it really just depends on the op.